Hi folks, and welcome back to the Creating Change series. I'm Jillian Walsh, and I'm a registered dietitian as well as a registered psychotherapist qualifying here in Canada. And today we are here to follow up on all the FAQs, or the frequently asked questions, that we get when it comes to the refeeding process. So let's just jump in, and I will read the first question that was sent in. So the question is it normal to feel anxious and overwhelmed in the beginning stages of mechanical eating or the refeeding process overall? So my short answer to that is yes, it is absolutely normal to feel overwhelmed. You'll notice that I did mention in one of our previous videos about the refeeding process that when the body has been dormant, when a lot of the systems have been shut down as a way to survive throughout the eating disorder, when we start to refeed our body again and we start to give the body the nourishment it needs, a lot of the systems that have laid dormant start to wake up again. One of the big systems that we are talking about is the system that controls our emotions. So it is very normal to feel a flood of emotions that comes in once we start to refeed our body. This might feel like a sense of overwhelm or a sense of anxiety. It might be a sense of fear or sadness or anger. Basically what it is it's going to be the opposite of feeling numb. So this is very normal. It's actually something that we expect. And as eating disorder specialists here at Change Creates Change, we want to make sure that our clients are equipped to deal with that flood of emotions before it happens. We talk a lot about coping skills, and if you stay tuned, you'll notice some of the newer videos coming out will be talking about how to cope with the flood of emotions that comes with the refeeding process. Okay, so let's go to the next question. How will I know when I'm hungry? What if my body doesn't tell me? So this is an interesting question. I feel like it's a bit of a trick question. So remember in the refeeding process video where we talked about we do not rely on our body's hunger and fullness cues? So let me give you a quick recap. The reason why we don't rely on the body's hunger and fullness cues in the beginning stages of eating disorder recovery is because those signals have been shut down for quite a long time. Think back to when you were in your eating disorder. You really ignored hunger and fullness cues, maybe for months, maybe for years. So of course your body's not going to waste time and energy on signaling if you're just going to continue to ignore those cues. So what happens is that it does take a fair amount of time for the body to wake those signals back up again, and to the point where we can trust and rely on those cues. So that is the main reason why we rely on mechanical eating in the refeeding process. We don't want to rely on internal cues because they're actually not quite accurate at that moment. It's going to be a little bit of a clunky system and a little bit of a transition period while your body starts to repair itself and starts to really start back up again is what I'm trying to say here. So in the refeeding process, we actually don't want you to rely on your hunger and fullness cues because at that moment in the beginning stages of eating disorder recovery, we don't necessarily trust them. Instead, we strongly encourage you to really rely on a mechanical eating plan. The piece with this about how do we trust whether or not it's enough for the body, this is where we strongly recommend that you need to connect with a registered dietitian who's trained in eating disorders. They will be able to prescribe you a nutrition care plan that talks all about mechanical eating, and it's based on your individualized needs. What you need throughout eating disorder recovery is going to be so different from anybody else that you know going through a similar process. So it's absolutely crucial that you have an individualized plan based on your needs. All right, I hope I answered that question fully. So this next question goes a little bit off of that, and it's how will I know if I'm eating too much or too little? So again, a bit of a trick question, because that is not for you as the individual going through eating disorder recovery to worry about. If you're working with an eating disorders team, they will have prescribed you a mechanical eating plan as well as an entire roadmap to get you through the refeeding process. So you are responsible for following that plan. The team is responsible for knowing that it's meeting your nutritional needs and the rest of the body's needs that you're basically experiencing, right? The big piece that comes up is that a lot of folks experience gastrointestinal discomfort or digestive discomfort. So if you're working with a team, they will make a plan that's specific to your body's requirements. For example, if you're having a hard time with bloating, then they will make sure to make recommendations around how to improve your comfort or reduce the bloating. Perhaps you're somebody that's experiencing excessive reflux. A team will definitely work with you around how to manage that. All right, so the final question of today's video. Why can't I follow Canada's food guide for eating normally? So here's the trick with that. We want everyone to be able to return to eating normally. A lot of folks aspire to eating intuitively, or something called intuitive eating. We want that for you as well. And we know that there is a journey before the intuitive eating piece that really has to happen as you come out of an eating disorder. And that process is mechanical eating. It is the refeeding process. So it's not that we're saying, hey, you can't rely on your intuition. You can't rely on, normalized eating as prescribed by Canada's food guide or by, the Mediterranean way of eating or all of the other things that you might see. What we're saying is now is not the right time. If you are just starting eating disorder recovery, we do not want you relying on something that is a one-size-fits-all, such as Canada's food guide or another eating regimen that's prescribed for a population and not an individual. The other thing we don't want you to rely on just now is your intuition. That is a great goal to have further down the road. But for now, we really want the body to have the support of an eating disorders team, and that there is a plan in place that's based on mechanical eating so that the refeeding process can occur quickly with a reduced amount of suffering. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is going to be a difficult process no matter what. But at least if you have a refeeding plan, you're able to reduce the suffering and ideally speed up that mechanical eating process just a little so that you can move through your goals on a quicker pace. All right, so that is all the time we have to answer the questions that came in. Please note that if you have other questions, you are absolutely welcome to drop them in the comments box. I do check the comments, so if you have questions, I will try my best to answer them in the comment box below. Now, if there's anything else coming up, don't forget that our website does have a full resource section, so you might be able to find answers to the questions you're looking for over there as well. All right, thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Creating Change. I can't wait to see you for the next one. Bye for now.